Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and everything will be ready in a minute. Load that. Good. Not good. Load that. What's going on, everything? Hello? I don't know what's going on. We'll get started shortly. Eventually. Database? Okay, check number one. I click add. Not even that's working. What is happening? I think I broke stuff. I didn't even do anything, but stuff is broken. Broken. Okay, let me stop the bot again. This time I'm gonna give it a minute before trying again. Start. Refresh. Yeah, it's not connecting to my database. Oh dear. Where did I put my logs for this? Does anyone remember? I need to get a bunch of stuff off my screen real quick. More GIS. Yay. I can close that. These windows can stay. That's fine, man. Oh, looks like we're going to be on a bot fixing stream today. Let's go to turn studio mode off. Let's go to main window. And let's figure some stuff out. So, this PC, C drive. What's going on there? One of these folders is the right one. D drive? Yeah. Web server apps, Twitch bot, logs. Data. Logs. Twitch bot. Standard error. Okay, my standard error for you are, well, actually, Captain Commerce just said something right before you did. Bye, Hungry Bear Dev. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Hi, Captain Commerce. Hi, Napalm. I am getting an exception that look like this. Signal R, Twitch bot, line 269. Which doesn't seem like a database connection. issue. Valid operation. So something is wrong with signal R? How do you learn to debug well? By running into a lot of issues and trying to fix them. And also paying attention to what you do to fix them. That's weird. It just connected. What? Okay, can we actually add the bot? Yes. Automated realms, are you awake? Yes. All right, then studio mode, archery bot, refresh, interact. Are you working? Do we get one in both places? We do. Good. 2, 3, 80. Jute. Higher level. Jute. Okay. A little higher. Jute. Debug goes away. Bot responded. I got a score of 99. Hacks. It's all hacks. And find out if the actual redeem works now. I really do think that the reason the redeem wasn't working last time, even when I refreshed the bot like I just now did, was because Twitch was having an issue with their redemption hub sub API thing. Q? Wow, that is a tiny. I'll stop standing on you, little lion. That is a tiny target. Pew. We'll go for 5. 90. Whoa. 4.5. Oh, 4. Yes. Okay, so if you want to play the archery game, it only costs 1 channel point. You just do a redeem like you normally do. Click on the archery game, and then your avatar will show up right here-ish. And then it'll give you instructions on how to shoot. All right, Cabin Commerce, thank you so much for being here to begin with. Hope you're having a great day, and it's going to be a fantastic one for you. Okay, thankfully, disaster averted, or I guess squirrel moment averted. We don't have to touch the bot. We can just keep going with what we were working on. And what we are working on now that we have a bot is this stream project here, which is the financial management tracker, which we've been working on for the last 252 streams plus. And right now we've been redesigning and implementing the redesign of the UI. I got it to a point on Monday where I undid all of the work that we did because I was trying to restructure it and change around the components the way that I have the components created. So we're going to fix that real quick and figure out why everything broke when it shouldn't. To start with, we're going to close. Oh, we also learned about using a container query and needed to see if it's going to be appropriate for anything we need to do, or if media queries are going to be good enough. But yeah, how have you been, Hungry Bear Dev? How have you been, Napalm? If you feel like typing into chat, you are absolutely not required to, but it would be nice to hear. And Stolf. Gosh, I really want to split this into... yeah, put you on bottom. You too. It's just hard for me to work in just one panel. I like having the actual UI split so I can see what it is that I'm trying to style. All right, and then we're going to restart completely the application. Ow. Hopefully everything is saved. Yes, I don't see any asterisks. Asterixes. And what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is to change out the inline HTML into a component. It'd be really, really nice if you just cooperated. Okay, so the component did work. We are getting HTML for the track transactions section. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing that on screen. But the CSS is not applying the way that I'm expecting it to. And the reason for that is it doesn't look like it is an isolated CSS, or it doesn't look like it's a component. We would expect to see something like this if we were trying to target it as part of an isolated CSS component. So why, oh why, index.razor is using this. I'm going to get rid of the commented code just to make sure that it is an updated saved file. Needs a rebuild? No. Hot reload of changes. Then I am going to try to target this element in a more direct way to see if it's maybe some issue with trying to use the ::deep syntax with a HTML element selector as opposed to like an ID selector, for example. So I'm going to do this. Let's go to the end. Add another curly brace because I'm gonna need it. Because I'm gonna open a new curly brace here. Save. No change so far. Just keeping an eye on any email from work, just in case. Okay. And then we're going to try targeting this thing directly using the ID selector. Background color pink. Oops. Okay, so that works. So that's telling me that targeting a nested element, a child component element, is not working. Or maybe it is, and I'm still not thinking about this correctly. So that element with ID sec track transaction is a section inside of article, and that should be where I am. So I'm in index page ::deep section. Make it blue. Okay, so I am targeting section correctly. the subcomponents inside of it aren't getting targeted correctly because of this. So now that I've already used : deep once, I don't need to put : deep to target even more subcomponents. Oh my gosh, too easy. And styles are back. Oh, deity. Overthinking and also hungry. So that's fixed. The footer, however, that's weird. Is this : deep? Oh, okay, good. So the footer is outside of that. Let's go ahead and move the footer into its own component as well. We are going to apply the styling here again, but again, we're just moving things around, doing things one step at a time so that I don't lose track of all of the changes that we're making. So taking the HTML for the footer, finding, like, it's possible we'll use this in multiple places. The components are specifically in a folder called main page components, the track transactions and view transaction. So I don't think I want to put them in there. It does kind of make sense to put them in shared because, again, it could be used everywhere. This will make it easier to move it to main layout as well if we need to. So I am going to put it here. Executive decision made. Razor, excuse me. .razor.cs. Although, oh yeah, .razor.scss. So I really don't have to create all of the files for it. I don't think I'll be using the code behind, but at the same time, if I wanted to do something awkward like animate the logo, I could do it there, but I could also do it in the logo, and doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter. What if I wanted telemetry on all of the links that I click? I could do that using a JavaScript library. Maybe that listens for any link click. Link click, really good anime if you haven't seen it. Or I could do it in C# and essentially hook up all of my buttons to, or anchors. Okay, so I should have lost styling. Oh no, not yet. That was just creating the component. Now I am going to put, oh my goodness, wake up. Now I'm going to put the HTML into the .razor and pasta, says, then back in. Wait, you have a variable down here? Right, because you have the button for the socials class. You are going to go, all of that debug stuff is going to go with the component. Is it? No. What I'll do instead is expose a parameter. And actually, I'll do it this way so I don't have to do cleanup later. Capture unmatched values. And that way, anything that gets put in here, which is going to be a dictionary of string object question mark, because we don't have to supply it, additional attributes will get put at the end of the container component. So at attributes equals additional attributes. And an index.razor, when we use the component here, we can have class equals this, and it'll get applied. Okay, now we will lose the styles. As long as I'm not using that variable anywhere else inside of here. I shouldn't be. I'm controlling everything with CSS, so we should be good to go. Good gravy. All right, why are you still angry at me? Why? Component rendering, footer does not have a property matching class. True. It doesn't have a property matching class. It has a property matching additional attributes. Ah, needed a rebuild. Tasty. Okay, bye-bye styles. And back into the CSS for index. Move this down because this is my : deep. And then I will check for any other : deeps for things like styling the logo directly, which I'm not. So we should be good to go. Styles back. This button still work? It does. Perfect. All right, now we can go to our next step. So our next step is to find out whether we want to move the CSS into the component directly. And I think the answer is going to be yes for the footer and maybe for the 2 sections. Split out HTML into Blazor components. Okay. So to do that, I am going to grab the footer HTML. Interesting. Why is this not inside of section? I bet you I was trying to style this and I was running into errors and couldn't figure out why. And it's because this element should be a section. Is that true? All right, sec view transaction hist. Is that the element? That is. You should be inside of section. All right, what styles am I going to get updated now that I've done that? Bless you. Nothing updated. What styles are supposed to get up? Preview image wrapper. Interesting. Anyway, doesn't matter. Footer. Where is your closing curly brace? Here. Oops. I meant to hold shift when I did that. But delete. Save. Bye-bye footer styles. And hello footer styles. Right. So since we added a new isolated CSS file, first of all, I haven't told it to compile, But second, since we're adding a new isolated CSS file, it might need a rebuild before being able to download the static asset. And there we go. 2. So moved footer styles into footer component. Okay, what's next? Oh, we verify that this still works. Does. You know, I wonder if maybe I should take this other layout and no title and move it into my debug. That way I can just delete it when it needs to go away. But then again, I really like the no title by itself. I'm starting to not like the other layout. I mean, I never really liked it to begin with. So this is other layout here. Maybe if the socials were bigger, it would look better. Ooh, smaller. Okay. That was just creepy. Did you guys hear that, or was it only from my PC? That was odd. I think it's Bit Gamey stream. He's playing a whole bunch of sound effects, and for some reason his sound effects are so much louder than his voice. Might have to mute his stream for now. That would be sad. Okay, do we like the socials if they are bigger like this, and then there's more space between the socials and the Automated Realms logo and contacts? We got a dad joke! 2 dad jokes for the price of none. What's the difference between a rooster and a crow? A rooster can crow, but a crow cannot rooster. Is that really a dad joke, though, or is that just an interesting thing to consider? And Dukasoftbot says, my wife told me to rub the herbs on the meat for better flavor. That's sage advice. I mean, at least it was an attempted joke, which is what dad jokes are. So I guess. Still not the most enthusiastic about it, but it was something. Okay. As I'm looking at this, I'm processing, I'm thinking about it, and no. I still like it better when it's over here. A? You being Canadian today? Other cultures say A. Yeah. Like, you know, the one other culture and language and stuff. Mm. Oh, this water is so tasty. Bottle number 2. I'm probably going to have to take a break before the end of the stream. Hey, I love Canada. Oh, Canada. With a subscript CA. Okay, I'm leaving that alone. We were supposed to be working on, right now, our primary focus is deciding whether or not to move the CSS for these specific components into the component. That was CA flag emoji. Really? I don't actually see the flag. Is it on the preview? Weird. You're freaking me out, man. Not really. But anyway, the section view transaction history styles, should I put those in the view transaction history component CSS, isolated CSS, or leave it in index? This is the only place that the CSS would matter. This is the only place the view transaction history is going to be displayed. But it does make sense to put the CSS, if it's specific, if it's like overriding the base section CSS, it makes more sense to put it with the component itself. But how can I guarantee? Oh, I don't know what the specificity would do in this case. I'm kind of curious, actually. So if you don't know what I am referring to, here I have my CSS in a specific order, and I'm defining my general section rules on the index page first. Then I am defining specific rules, or rules specific to the section view transaction history component or element here. And if I move this into the isolated CSS file for the view transaction history component, trying to keep these words straight, I don't know what order these are going to be defined in, for one, and then for two, the specificity on this when we see the CSS is just going to be the ID sec view transaction history, whereas here the specificity is index page class, all sections. And so will this override my ID selector? The ID selector would be more specific than a class element selector. So yes, it would still apply. That's my final answer. We're going to find out. So let's get rid of it from here. Oh, you know what though? What I was thinking was that I had more specificity because it was section and then the ID for the section. So it would have been .index class, section element, named with an ID of sec view transaction hist. But anyway, here we go. Saving all files, letting it recompiles. It's not going to work because I didn't tell this thing to recompile yet. So once that recompiles, we're going to get a rebuild, and then it'll download the static assets, and then we'll get the CSS applied, and hopefully it'll just work. And it does. It does just work. Okie dokie. All right. So does this still make sense to us now then? How did I end up minimizing when I was trying to go here? The index.razor page has the CSS for the sections themselves to style anything that is a section in a specific way. And the things that are sections are these two components, the track transaction history and the view transaction, or track transactions and view transaction history components. And the only one that has additional no, the cards and track transactions have additional styling. And this is where container queries might come into play, because if I move the styling for the cards in the track transactions component, so these cards here, into the actual track transactions component, then I should at that point rely on the size of the container to determine how should I display the cards themselves, as opposed to a media query, which is the size of the entire viewport. Because what happens if the container that this component happens to be in is smaller than the size of the viewport? So let's grab the cards. All section titles, card wrapper. And the reason that I'm putting the card styles in here, even though it's possible that I would use cards in other sections, like let's say we end up adding more content here sometime in the future. What happened to those styles? Those are still not going to be styled the same as the track transaction section. So we need to, just because : deep needs a container element, I'm going to do sec track transactions ID : deep, and then the card styles. And again, if I want it to be more specific, then I could. I could tell it to, actually, this is the next level. So never mind. I'm as specific as, well, I could put div dot. Anyway, you get the gist. You get what I'm talking about. So it looks like something Baroque. And are you compiling? You are not, but you are now. So if you're using the web compiler extension, or if you don't know, I guess, to use Sass, one of the easiest things that I found if you're using Visual Studio is to use the web compiler extension. It's called Web Compiler 2022 Plus, which was originally a Mads Christensen extension, and then he indicated that he wasn't going to be updating it for Visual Studio 2022. Someone else by the name of somebody important did update the extension for Visual Studio 2022, and yeah, it works exactly the same. James Moore, I want to say. Web compiler. Jason Moore. I was close. But yeah, this extension here is really, really helpful. It's called Web Compiler. And the way that you use it is you create a SCSS file, or I think it even works with SASS, and less, I think. Yeah, I don't know what all it works with, but I use SCSS because I understand it the most. Then when you right click on that file after putting in your sassy syntax, you'll have this web compiler context menu item, and it will say compile file. And if it's the first file in your project that you are compiling, it'll generate this compiler config for you, and populate it with the one file. So if I did this one first, it would have populated it with only this. And you can see that it's JSON. It's an array of options for compiler config. And the basic stuff for it you can find nested under it if you have nesting turned on, otherwise in a separate file called compiler config.json.defaults. And this has, yeah, it does support less. This has all of your basic options that you can override here. Like if you never want it to generate minified, you can configure that here. If you never want it to have comments when it compiles, so if you want it to ignore all comments and delete them from the CSS, from the generated CSS, you can do that in here as well. I don't know where. It's not here. But there is an option to turn off comments, or to have it not output comments when it transpiles. Hi Mojo. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. So yeah, from that point on, whenever you create a .scss file, you can either right click on it in your Solution Explorer and click compile, and that'll add it to the list. Just know that if you move that file, you need to manually update it in compiler config. Word. And then of course either modify it in there or just delete it and then right click and compile. What else? The keyboard shortcut for it is Alt-Shift-Q, unless something else took over that keyboard shortcut. But yeah, I really love this extension and being able to write Sass. Credits and kudos to Jason and originally Mads Christensen. Oh, and if you don't want the web compiler extension, or you want to make sure that the the Sass compiles in your build, then you could also add the NuGet package for web compiler build tasks. Yeah, you have to have the NuGet package in order for it to compile on build. The gotcha that I have seen with that is that the bundle, so if you're using isolated CSS, the bundle step happens before the web compiler step. So you'll need to manually tell it to do the web compiler build task first, and then do the rest of the build. In the pipeline, that is. And I think even on your local build as well. So, but the thing that, like, that would be very beneficial if you didn't want to check in your CSS and CSS min.css into your source control, because the SCSS is the thing that generates your CSS and min.css. So why would we need to include these extra files if they're just going to get generated whenever you do a build? And the answer was that, because it builds in the wrong order. By default, that is. I don't think we ever figured out on the team that I was working on that did this. I don't think we ever figured out how to change the order that the build happens, but I'm sure there's a way. The other thing that I think happens, I think I was starting to say this, is when you do a build, it cleans out all .css and .min.css when you're using the compiler config build task. And so you'd still run the risk of, if you run the build task first and then you run the rest of the build, that it will still delete the .css and .min.css files and then try to recreate them. Yes. Oh, finally. Oh, geez. That's a lot of information. Okay. But anyway, just let me know if you do have any questions on Web Compiler. I've been using it for quite a while, but that doesn't make me an expert on it. It just makes me feel somewhat comfortable with it. And I'll do my best to answer, and hopefully I'll answer correctly, but no guarantees. Yes, where are we at? We are at the point where we moved the CSS into, or the CSS rules, the Sass rules, into the components directly, and now we have them in the isolated CSS. It seems like this is the most likely approach to use. Hiccup. I guess if I wanted to go the rest of the way, we would put the header. No, this is a hero section. So yeah, we would put the hero section in the main page components as well. So quick commit that says moved sections into specific components. Our next one is to make the header into its own component by going to one of these and Shift F2. Main page hero. That's what I'm gonna call it. .razor.cs. I really do not need these razor CS. I don't know why I'm creating them. I knew I wouldn't need them, but since I created one, I'm doing them all. That's a great reason for it, isn't it? It's consistency. Static. Partial. Oh my goodness. I was now thinking of particles because of the animation on the automated realm site. Particles. This is the only reason that I would have a code behind file in the footer if I was gonna use this thing. Moving on. Main page hero. Okay. Main page hero gets some content. Index replace you with main page hero. Save. And we lost our styles for it for now, for meow, until we go into index.razor. I'm doing this backwards. I usually have the SCSS files pinned. And we tell the hero section. This looks like it's going to be specific to the element again. There is nothing like a grid area. I would specify that in the place that it's used, but all of this stuff looks very specific to the hero element itself. Although the one thing that I might want to keep inside of index.razor would be the sizing for all of them instead of putting it in here. So like right now I have, no, I don't even have sizing in here. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. And like I said, we need to tell all of our new SCSS files to compile. Alt-Shift-Q. Done compiling. Rebuilding. Refreshing. Drinking water. And we got all our styles back. Yatta! All right, so it looks like we didn't do anything at all. Great. But that's what we want. When we refactor, we don't want it to look any different, right? Moved hero element to as a component. Speaking of consistency, commit. Okay. Now that I am out of things to procrastinate with, let's continue on our journey of doing the breakpoints. Yay! I don't wanna. Oh man. Okay, so one thing that I use for the breakpoints is the breakpoint variables SAS file, partial SAS file. And I think you're going to be one level up. Two levels up. There it is. Save, copy. Pasta. Pasta. And that way I have access to the breakpoints themselves. Man, I wish there was like a way to template the media queries section. So right now I feel like I'm going to be repeating code where I'm going somewhere, copying and pasting. And it would just be cool if I guess it wouldn't decrease the amount of code. But it'd be cool if like I had a template in SAS where I could just tell it I want to print out the media queries here. And then just fill in the stuff. Like one thing I guess that I'm thinking of doing is for this project specifically, and I don't even think it can be project specific, but creating a snippet, which is in edit. You know what? Just be easier. Go here. Snippet. It's in tools. Tools snippet manager. And then creating a code snippet for the media query breakpoints. I mean, it seems like something that I would use a lot. I'd have to create the file though. Because I don't plan on using different breakpoints across different applications. I plan on having it be consistent no matter what. So if I write it once, then I could just do breakpoint media tab, and then it prints it out for me. Or something. Or something. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to copy pasta. I spent more time talking about it than it would take me to copy pasta. Twitter? Oh, you also need this, and you should only be one level up. Oh, okay, no errors in my SAS compiler, so we should be able to continue on. All right, I think I just now, since my mind shifted to what our current task is, I just now understood why you would want to style your page as either mobile first or largest screen first. And that's because that would eliminate one of the rules. And that rule... What is this? Why are you there twice? Man, this is why I want a snippet. And that rule would be this last one. Would be hash $BP large X. Or that's not the one that I wanted to change. Oops, what am I doing? So essentially, anything smaller than breakpoint small will get these styles applied. Anything between breakpoint medium min and breakpoint medium max. Oh, overlooking these things. But that's okay. Everything is fine. We'll get these rules, and then anything beyond breakpoint medium max will get the rules that already exist. We don't need to move things around. Okay, that's a little bit easier. Okay, and then once again, maybe I want to consider having my two sections be based off of their containers as opposed to the viewport size. That really shouldn't be that big of an issue. To go ahead and do it as media queries because I don't know how containers work, but I think that we should just be able to change this to container, which is not recognized in Visual Studio at the moment in the linter for Visual Studio, but according to the MDN, it does exist. And so we'll do this real quick just to see how it works. Hello in that bulisnabel. Background color pink. Yeah, and I guess another thing that this would oh, you can't do it that way. You need to actually give it an element. The other thing that this would help with is if the screen size is able to shrink still, like this, but the actual content inside of the screen is no longer shrinking, which I would love to be able to show you, but apparently I broke something. Oh, because I'm in the wrong window. So like, watch the top bar. Oh gosh, I lost my styles again. No. Oh geez. Okay. As I make the screen smaller, oh gosh, I just broke everything. ArcGIS stuff in this browser? Oh, I must have been showing you guys. Roll back! Roll back! Negative. We will not. We will just rebuild. Turn it off and on again. Okay, so here we go. The containers, you can see that they are still growing and shrinking, and one of the containers, which is not visible to us, is this fall forward. Is this hero div up here, or I guess it's a header element. So this element here is changing size until these two meet, and I can't make the header any smaller because I told it it can't wrap text. And so it's still treating the contents inside with respect to the viewport width and height. So we're still seeing stuff shrink and grow. And what I would really prefer is once the container element stops sizing, the inside of the element also stops doing whatever sizing related things. But one thing that I'm seeing is that the container queries are not taking effect. That could be because I'm missing a step where I need to declare an element as a container. Yeah, container type. Naming containers. Yeah. Okay. So we need to put a container type on index.razor.s index page. And you are going to be block size, I think. Or just size. Okay, and then if we go back here, interesting, I've lost my scroll bars. So index page is this thing. We do have the container types. Interesting. So what exactly happened? What if I moved it to the main layout instead? Oh, that's not going to work because the main layout is also set to units that are the viewport width and height, so it's going to look exactly the same. But it is at least picking up the queries for the 2 breakpoints that I've defined on container. Yeah. The issue is that the container that I'm really wanting to use is the actual page content itself. But when I do that, I lose my overflow. And it's probably because I'm picking the wrong sizing. Normal. Now I need it to be for container size queries. Wait, what? What does that even mean? So if you use the normal keyword, it says that the element is not a query when you're doing container type. The element is not a query container for any container size queries, but remains a query container for container style queries. So I can't use the min width and stuff on normal? Is that what you're telling me? That's all the information we get. Okay, let's move this back out to index.razor and specifically the index page element. And let's try inline size to see if it lets us keep our scroll bars. It doesn't. It gets rid of our scroll bars. Okay, well, one thing that I did notice is that it didn't change the colors. What if I changed you to size again? Because that's really what I want. Yeah, it didn't change the colors of this element because the index page itself is still at whatever the width is for the header. So if I made the breakpoint a little bit bigger, for example, then we would see it. But here's actually how I'm going to prove it. I'm going to hide this. And I'm proving it to myself, not to you guys. So there, it changed color. And as I make it smaller, yeah, then the width of the index page element was able to get small enough. What's up with the footer? Why aren't you changing size relative to the parent? The width of the container was able to get small enough such that the breakpoint got hit for you. And then if we bring the title back, then we'll see that the actual size of index.razor is too wide again for the container query. Okay, good. It's doing what I want it to do. I just need to add overflow auto to page. Still would love a way to get this scroll bar to go all the way to the top. We'll figure that out someday. I don't remember what the main issue that I had with putting the overflow auto on index page was. Yeah, I just don't. The end. That's all I got. But this is going to work. So on index, I will be using media queries, right? No, because that's specifically this header. Where did I put header? It's got to be in shared as well, right? Right? Top bar is what I called it. Yeah, you guys come down here into this section again. Focus down there. Open you. You are not seeing that breakpoint. And why not? SAS. Breakpoint variables. Yeah, I'll let you respell it for me in case I misspelled it. Breakpoint small min. That's why. Max is what I meant. All right, now we've compiled successfully. We should be good to go. When the viewport is breakpoint medium min, we want the font size in the title. And app brand. App title. Hello, Duka sauce. Duka sauce. Ew, that sounds even worse. What is font size H2? Isn't font size H2 what it is already? How has your day been going, Signore Ducasoft? Font size H2. No, it's a H1, and so it takes whatever the H1 font size is, which was 2 M's, and bumps it up to 2.488 M's for font size H2. What? Oh no, okay, that's a lie. It was 2.986 M's, and now it's 2.488 M's. Okay. And we can't see that happen because it will never get small enough. But I do want it to be based off of the media query and not the container query. So why? Oh, because font size small, breakpoint small isn't doing a thing. App title font size H4. Oh, come on. You should be a media query. Oh, 480? Wow. There it goes. That is too small. So let's make you H4. What did I just do? H4. What even are these rules? Go away. Okay, and then on this one, let's make it to where the title is base font size. Can we do that one? Woot, woot, woot. Yeah, let's just do font size body and see what happens. Okay, yeah, and then this would be a hamburger by the time we are this small. Still a hamburger? No. Maybe. 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 So what size is this? And why isn't it a breakpoint? At what size does it become a cheeseburger? You have to be less than 108 pixels, I think. Yeah, I'm hitting all 3 breakpoints. So it's almost like I'm missing one. Yeah, extra large. Okay. So I did need the large min and max. And I may as well, like, I'm usually leery, is that the word? Weary of providing a min and max for the previous breakpoints. But it might not be a terrible idea. Because the thing that happens is if you have a large enough screen with a pixel density that's high enough, and you could, you know, nudge it so that you're in between the 2 breakpoints, then it'll just do this flashy thing. Okay. How about now? Yeah. Okay. So bigger, smaller, even smaller. Oh, yeah, and that's what's happening. Good, good. Okay, the thing that I'm still not happy with is the links on the right are still colliding with the title before the breakpoint gets small enough to change the font size. So the question is, how soon do I turn these links into a hamburger? And then of course the icon size. And, does anyone else find responsive CSS stuff fun? I'm loving this. This is so exciting. I can't wait to do this for the next 10 days. I'm so happy. Extra large. You want fries with that? Of course. Of course I want fries. Why would I not want fries? I always want fries. Yeah. Napalm is like, not even a little bit. Okay, so I'm only focused right now on the header sizing. So right around 930, let's say 938, 940 to round it off. 940 is when it starts getting cluttered in the header. And I would want to do something about the font sizes or the positioning or whatever in the header. So does it make sense to change the breakpoint to around 930? It's an awkward breakpoint, but it might make sense for our app. So if I go smaller than this, then this font size should change. And it does. Yeah. Oh, you know what? This isn't even gonna, well, okay. If I wanted to take this into consideration, I would need to do something a little bit more. So as you have seen in my markup, I have a shared localizer service, which is just a class that is generated by my localization context. Shared libraries, shared localization. So when I do localizations, then I called the file shared localization service, and then it auto generates a C# static class to give me localized content based on the language selected. So this whole thing about breakpoints, not only is it hard enough to do in one language, but if you are intending for your app to be multilingual, it's even more of a nightmare. So is there something else that I could do instead of relying on this breakpoint to change the size of the title? Especially since not too long after I changed the font size of the title, does it still start preventing it from getting any narrower? So I would have to have another breakpoint at around 828, it looks like 830. That turns this into a hamburger menu, if I was only going to keep this in English. But then as soon as I get down to here, does it stay a hamburger? Because now I have room. The answer is yes. Yes, it does. Oh, this is so difficult. How do designers do it? I have so much respect for them. I mean, I know that by here we will have a hamburger menu. Where do you start the breakpoint, Mr. Designer? Yeah, or the hamburger menu is what I was asking about. The hamburger menu really does show up on small. And the title stays. But that's assuming that we can't make the screen any smaller than that. Goodness gravy. Does anyone have any gravy? That's good. I don't know what to do. Let's just work in this size to begin with, and then we'll work our way to wider screens. That's what I'm going to do. So at this size in the top bar, we would be looking at, and I am going to give myself a little more room, app bar links, for example. And app bar links is here at the same level as app brand, or just app links, whatever, sure. And app links is going to have two display styles. The first display style is going to be where we can see all of the items in line, styled as display flex with space between or something. I think it's space between. display flex, direction row. I don't know why I needed to specify direction row. It's the default. And then justify content flex end. Oh, okay. So it's justify content flex end with a gap. Got it. And then the UL is also going to be display flex, align item center, justify content flex end with a gap. And then we uppercase it and make sure that nothing can wrap. Okie dokie. So with that, when we are on a screen that is too small to hold both the title and the links, app bar brand SVG is going to have a size of, I don't know, 1 M. Does that do anything? That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. Maybe it does need to be font size because this isn't my... Right. Oh, it just needs to be width. Height and width. You do have a view box, don't you? Yeah. Ooh, that was scary. Okay, so we're going to give it a width of 36. Random. Yeah, that's not going to work. A width of 1.5 Ms looks like what? Good. It looks good. I like it. Okay. Like I said, I like it. So let's keep tweaking it. Then the app links. Hello, Abaddis. The app links is going to be display none. And oh gosh. We need the hamburger menu. So let's add hamburger. Oof. And then this is going to be the menu content. Which means that we are going to need to add to you oh, actually, we can just put you in here. This will only apply to the menu contents. Cool. Save you. All right, didn't break any of the styles. Good, good. What's this button look like? Button looks good. All right. Let's go for 79. 480. Awesome. Okay, and the reason that I chose to do it like this is because by default, we want the hamburger to be display none. Oh, none. And then the menu contents to be flex always showing. Position relative for its container, for the app links container. That way we can position it to the hamburger menu. Although, yeah, that's what I want. Because this is really the hamburger icon specifically. That way, even when we do have, and I'm going to get rid of this for now, when we do have the right icon for our hamburger menu, that, ooh, I know which one I want to use too. That it's not showing on wider screens. Finish your thought, dude. Good Ben. Good Ben. Do I have the sample of the hamburger, the animated hamburger menu? Was that in here? No. Expand to the over there. Oh yeah, this was really fun. That was for finite. That was fun. Expandable card. No. Man, there was someone on the interwebs that had a really, really good hamburger menu animation. I really liked it. It was very subtle and smooth. I'm not going to be able to find it. It's fine. We'll just use a regular hamburger. Jamie, can I borrow your hamburger menu icon? Material icons. Yeah, navbar toggler icon is where? Not in here, apparently. Really? Huh? You know what? That's not a good one to use. Let's go back to that water management one. Or whatever you are. You were RMA chain of custody. Oh man. So I'm kind of sad that I'm taking so long on this part because I've gotten to a point where they're asking me to convert the last desktop application to a web app and integrate it into the chain of custody application. And I kind of want to do that on stream instead of messing around with I would still call this a professional product. At least I'm striving to make it look more professional, but it's still not as like real life work, which I think is more interesting to watch. Potentially, I mean, you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong. Huh? What? 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 I'm confused. How did I make this thing? I thought this was an SVG. Oh, it is. It is an SVG. So where is this? Whatever. We're just going to use our font library that we have installed, which is Material Icon or Remix Icon. Let's start with Remix Icon. Okay, it's just called Menu, and we'll use Menu Line for it. And I'm putting it inside of a button. I don't want it in a button though. want to put it inside of a label. Why? That's just weird. Because I want to use CSS to control the expanded. I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? And you know what else I'm not actually considering? One is that the designer didn't give us what this should look like when the hamburger is expanded. And two, where is it going to expand from? Is it going to expand from the right side? Is it going to expand from the left side, from the top? And just be like a about contact, whatever things we have in here. About contact us and log in and get started. If it's the latter, that would be the easiest for us because then I don't have to figure out how to size the flyout, which is what this menu content is going to look like. I won't have to figure out how to size this correctly. And the other thing that's going to happen is when the hamburger is expanded, I'm going to need a way to be able to dismiss the menu when clicking off. So typically you're able to expand things by clicking on the hamburger menu. And when you click anywhere outside of the menu that shows up, it collapses the menu. And the way that I've been doing that is by having another container, which in this case could just be the app links div. Where this container will take up the entire screen and have an on click. And then all of these would be at on click prevent or stop propagation. So when you're clicking anywhere inside of this div, then there's no way for you to trigger the whatever the on click is up here. And then this thing could still have the on click for toggling expanded and not. So yeah, let's do it that way. This is going to be a button. And you're still going to be a hamburger icon. Or hamburger button, I guess, is what you are now. Button. Followed by an on click. Yeah, on click. Oh my gosh, I can't anything. And then we'll have this controller our expanded and not expanded. Come on. Hello? That should not have broke anything. Oh, yeah, it did broke things. Okay, that should fix it. And then you will be on click. Expanded equals false. You will always dismiss expanded, but that means that this one does also need the on click stop propagation. Otherwise, you'll click it, it'll turn expanded to true, the click will propagate to the underlying div, it'll toggle it back to false. Okay, so we should be able to see the behavior where this toggles the class on and off. It's not going to actually do anything visibly for us, but we should see the hamburger icon. icon. You have an invalid expression next to close parentheses. Not you. Can you at least tell me? Oh, source generator. Fine. Tell me I have an invalid expression. Okay, so we have our hamburger button. And if we watch the container, then we'll be able to see the expanded class toggle on and off on click. All right, Napalm, thank you so much for being here. You are amazing. And then when we have it expanded and I click outside but on the actual container div, app links div, but not on the menu contents. So if I click on menu contents, nothing happens. But if I click up here, expanded goes to false. And then if I click on here over and over, expanded stays false. Good. So that behavior is doing what we want it to do. We can now say on regular view, the hamburger icon is display none. Save. Oh, because it's not called hamburger icon anymore. Hamburger button. Where does he always come from? Okay, so hamburger button is display none. Then on our media query for small screens, which I'm putting in top bar. Should I be putting this in top bar? I'll keep it in top bar for now, but we're probably going to end up moving it into the component directly. So on small screens, app links, and not expanded, we'll have the menu contents display none. And we will have the what did I call this thing just now? Hamburger button. Humberto. I was about to write Hamberto. My name-ish. I don't know what all this is. Why are you... What is all of this? Is this going to help me? Did you style this for me? No. You broke everything. I don't know what this is. Anyway, you are going to be display unset. That way you revert back to your default. Display initial. Initial. Not hamburger menu, hamburger button. Okay, so now we have our hamburger button. We click it, and then the menu appears. Click off of the menu, and it disappears. So this is where it gets difficult for me, because I want the normal animation that you would expect from a menu, but I need to be able to style this correctly. Anyway, you didn't help me at all. You didn't give me anything helpful. Thanks for trying. So menu contents, which goes here. Is going to be position absolute, probably position fixed, because I think, no. I was going to say, I think that I have the overflow on header set to hidden or clip, but I don't. Okay, I'm going to put it at right 0. You're going to change the UL. No, you're going to change to flex direction column. And you're going to change the UL to flex direction column as well. Good. Then we are also going to, instead of align item center, which is what's making it horizontally center because our flex basis is now vertical, we're going to change align items flex start to move them to the left, or to the right in right to left languages. We're going to give the UL some padding now. Man, and we're going to need, or what I would want to do is change the title background color to something solid as well. Because the menu contents is going to have a solid background color. And it's most likely going to be the same color as the footer. We definitely need to make sure that the Z index is set to, let's just do 2. I want to stay consistent. Your padding needs to be 1 rem for now, 1 M. We need to account for the flippin' gutter, the scroll bar gutter. I hate that. Is that going to matter as much? Because the other thing that I want is for this to be position fixed inset position 0. So what this should do in theory is make it so that the app links will take up the entire viewport page. So hiding everything behind it, including the scroll bars and all that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to illustrate that by doing a background color. Andreas Sastev again. Oh man, you are too kind to me. I'm hearing your voice on multi-stream because I'm lurking in your channel all the time. And I heard something that I thought I recognized, but it was too quiet for me to actually hear anything that you're saying. But anyway, how are you? Welcome in. How was your stream? I hope it was a wonderful day for you working on your game engine, if that's even what you were working on today. If you guys do not know Andreas Sass, words today on Andreas Sass Dev, he is a very, very talented individual who is entertaining and knowledgeable and charismatic and all of the good things that you can ever say about him. It's awesome to hang out on his stream. Yeah, definitely do whatever you need to do. I don't want to hold you up from anything, especially if you have stuff to do after your stream. I have stuff to do immediately after my stream, so I'm used to, or I understand. But he said, I can't stay for long. Yes, we tore out an old frame processor and got into decent multi-threading now. Awesome. Just had a problem for 4 hours dealing with the cache not updating like I wanted to. All right, enjoy. Hope you have a great, I'll call it a date. Hope you have a great date. Have fun. Thanks again for bringing your people. For those of you that do not know me, I am One Lion. I am a .NET developer working in Blazor most of the time. Right now we're working on a stream application called the Financial Management Tracker. And that is because I haven't had, I got to a point where I couldn't stream my work product, which is what I used to do. So we started this project a long time ago, got it to a point where it's working well, and then I was like, I don't like how it looks, so let's go through the process of redesigning it. We did a whole bunch of role play as a company hiring a developer to create a product for them, then the company hiring a designer to redesign the UI for the product that the developer finished and made for them. And now we are the hired again developer implementing the design that the designer came up with. And so this is what the app redesign is going to look like. And it currently does look like this on larger screens. Although I think I flipped them where I have the first image on the left and then the second on the right, but whatever. Yeah, maybe I do want to do the first one where the image is on the right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Moving on. That's just a small CSS change. So we've been implementing this design, and we got through the basic part of the implementation, but now we are working on the media queries and something new to me, which is called container queries. And if you haven't heard of container queries, that's okay. Neither have I. Container queries are ways for you to set up a media query that is relative to its nearest container, the thing that you would call. You actually have to define the container property on something that you want to be a container. So here, anything with class post is going to be a container, and the sizing is going to be relative to its inline size. The other options are regular size, which will be either inline or block depending on what the display is set to. And then normal, where it'll be a container, but you won't be able to write size queries on them. And so a size query, my assumption, we haven't tested this yet, but a size query is anything that has like a min width, max width. But you could probably still style every card that is inside of this specific container. I'm quitting in like 4 minutes. I'm like, I can still accept just to see what it does, but you're not live, so I don't think it would actually do anything. I wouldn't mind testing it with you. Heads up would be nice. So he's like, oh, by the way, we're going to try this out today. I didn't see it before and got curious. Yeah, and I saw it on someone else's stream. It's like they sent out a message, but yeah, no stream. Dukasoft was about to click accept for me. Yeah, if you ever do want to test it out, I'd be happy to. Just give me a heads up, because that gave me a heart attack. I was like, what? Co-stream, more like no stream. Ooh, wait, I don't know if that was a dig against me or not. But anyway, I don't know what I was saying. But that's fine. It got me to a point where we can just color this bad for now. Yeah, there's a shout out for Irish John Games, who is an amazing, wonderful game dev who works in Unity, works on a game called Rise of Piracy. You can check it out on the Microprose site. You can check it out on Steam. What's your command, Dukasoft, for your bot? Because it works better than mine. Your bot is amazing, Dukasoft. Yeah, I'm sure you all do know him. He doesn't like it when we talk about how amazing he is, even though I still want to talk about how amazing he is. Yeah, but it's great times over on his stream. He streams every weekday, or Monday through Saturday, essentially, at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. It's Irish people time. So yeah, in 30 minutes from now. So don't let me keep you from getting your food. I will be stopping my stream very, very soon. Why is BitGamey walking away from his stream? Everyone that I was lurking on just ended their stream. So I need to start lurking again here. Queue up Irish John's channel here. Refresh because it crashed the videos. Ooh, he did it. Wait, no, does that work? My bot is a mess. Hi, bot is a mess. I'm Bardaki. He didn't say I bot is a mess. Hamburger button is going to be what? Justify, no, because it's your container is not flex, is it? I think I need to position it absolute, but I really don't want to position the hamburger button absolute now that I am making the app links full screen. What I could do, no, I can't do that. Could I? What I might be able to do is tell this thing to be display flex direction column. Then I don't even have to worry about doing position absolute for the menu contents either. Align items, flex, end. Okay, does that move you over to the end? No, why didn't it move? Oh. And then justify content, flex start. Would move everything up to the top. Maybe get a padding top of whatever my padding is for the top bar. Because right now what's going to happen is the button is going to shift. No, it's not. It's going to be in a fixed place no matter what. Okay. So that still works-ish. Okay. So your background is going to be RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.1. Cool. Right. That is, what am I thinking? That is only going to happen when expanded. Goodness, how am I going to do that? I gotta stop though. Oh, no, that was right. Okay, I see what's happening. This is what it's going to do when it is expanded. When it is not expanded, it's going to be position fixed. And actually, let's do position unset. And padding top unset. Yeah, and I knew that it was going to shift, but there we go. So it's doing what I want. I don't know if you can actually see it dimming. So let me just make it a little bit more apparent by doing like 0.4. Okay, dims everything behind it. And it'll be even more apparent when I have a background on the menu items themselves. What's up with this shadow around you? That is, oh my gosh. The background color. Background color. Set. Okay, so now what should happen is anytime that I click outside of the menu item or the menu contents, it will collapse the menu. And there it goes. And so what we can work on next is styling it so that this does appear like it's coming from the place that it should come from. It has a background. Maybe it is full width, but then I want the height to animate so that that's how it opens and closes. The issue that I always run into with that is you can only animate on max height. You can't animate on height itself, I don't think. But we'll figure that out in the next time. But that unfortunately is going to be it for my stream because I need to get back to work. I am having fun today. I'm back to converting an app. I really wanted to start doing this specific app on stream, but I want to finish the financial management tracker before moving back to work products type stuff because I like finishing things before starting new things. So here's my ending screen. Thank you all so much for joining. Shout out to Dukasoft. I was about to do that. That's funny. That is so funny. I really was about to do a shout out. I was starting to type it. Shout out to Dukasoft because he, on occasion, streams drone video that he has taken. And it is such good times. He plays the best music, Harris Keller, Scream Beat stuff. And it's great conversation. And it's just overall great time on his stream. So check him out if you ever get the chance. As I mentioned, we are raiding over 2-Bit Gamey again, just because I can. But that's it for my stream. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll eventually post the VOD for this to YouTube at some point in time. I'll be back again on Friday for a community day that you are all invited to and welcome to join if you feel like it. Last community day, I feel like I alienated a whole bunch of people with my fixation, the topic that I chose, but I'm glad I was able to get some good discussion out of it. Nom noms. All right, ciao for now. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be around lurking on other people's streams for the rest of the day. Okay. Bye.